Hello and welcome to another review here on Theme Park Worldwide, where it's me and Charlotte, and we've just come back from Alton Towers Resort from the 2019 first day of the season.
We have! We've just come back.
And did you enjoy it?
Yes, I had a very nice day.
We did, and of course make sure you check out the full vlog here on Theme Park Worldwide from our day out, where we go around lots of off-ride footage, share all the changes around the park for this season, and much more. But yes, we did like a non-spoiler review of the new Alton Towers Dungeon there in that vlog, and we also sat right here just over a week ago where we shared our initial thoughts to the dungeon.
From when we went and had a look round.
Yeah, the preview, wasn't it? And today we actually went in the full dungeon and have seen the full experience. So I warn you from this point on, there is spoilers.
Do not watch if you don't want to know what goes on inside.
Inside the dungeons. But yeah, so we're going to go through all the 7 different scenes. There's 6 official scenes, but one of them we'll talk about because it's a special scene when you come off the boat ride. But yeah, let's just talk about it in general. So we'll start from the exterior, and then at the end we'll sort of wrap up and say our overall thoughts and out of 10. The exterior, what's changed since you was there last time? So you walk up, of course, you've got a new little area to have a photo now, haven't you? What would you describe it as?
I don't really know. It's like a stand, so you can go up into the stand and have a photo, but I think it looks really nice.
That looks a lot better.
It's a good photo point.
Really good photo point. Of course, you can get up there, you got the sign. Of course, you make your way down to the building. On the left-hand side, the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory building was still on show last week when we were at the preview. And yeah, like that's all been painted black now.
Yes.
It doesn't look great. I think it would have looked better if they'd have carried on the wooden fencing, personally. But there you go, and you've got the fire torches that are still out at the moment around the area, but they are going to be attached to the building at some point. So then we made our way into the little entrance area. We had our ticket, the ticket booths on the left. For those. We made our way into the first section, the big room, which basically had been split off now, hadn't it? So we had a photo.
We had a little queue line in there.
Yeah, we had a photo, didn't we? And then we went on to meet the first character, didn't we, out there? He took out our photo and he explained all about like the welcome to the dungeon. He explained, you know, no talkie boxes, no flashy boxes, no what was I saying? Phones, cameras. I tried to say them both at the same time, but too excited. So yeah, like that room, I think it looked a lot different in there.
Yeah, but he kept calling us maggots.
He kept calling us maggots. You know what they're like in the dungeon, so they're a good laugh. And then, of course, the door opened, which led us into our first room, which was the
judge scene.
The judge. So what happened in here then, Charlotte?
So obviously, normal dungeons, like, you'd have the judge quite high up, but the judge is quite low down. But the good thing is it's got spiel from, like, the local area, which is good. And the same again. People get chosen to go up and they get told about the crimes they've committed. Yeah, 3 people get chosen, don't they? So 2 quite long ones, and then the final one, which they do, which is like, where are you from? You know, oh, I'm from Alton or whatever. It's like, oh, we can't have traitors from Alton in the dungeon. That sort of style. Of course, very similar to that of other dungeons. Like Charlotte said, judge is quite low down, but there's some nice lighting effects in there this time. Yeah.
Programmed very well. Like we had a few like sound effects like sheep and things, a couple of like flashing lights and things. But yeah, you know, it was all right. That was judge as you'd kind of expect. We then got led in. An actor came out to us. A themed part of the experience came out and led us in to the onload area for the Black River boat ride. So from this point, obviously we made our way into what was the former Charlie and the Chocolate Factory station. So how would you say it looks in there?
I felt like it was very dark. It needed some sort of dressing or some sort of theming just to make it look a bit better, because it was just very, very, very dark.
A lot of black walls.
Yeah, there was a lot of black walls.
Like the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, what would you call it, like the wheel what spun round, that's still there, but that was the only bit of theming on that back wall. But anyway, we got led onto the boat. You can seat 9 on the boat, 3 rows with 3 in each row. So yeah, then we got sort of led on. And I must say the actor was very good there.
Yeah, really good.
Yeah, stayed in character, getting everybody in. It wasn't like, queue up at that gate, next one at that gate. It was, you know, all in character. You split and sit with these, you know, very good. Sat down, we were on the front row.
We were.
Very lucky to be on the front row. Onboard audio throughout, all audio throughout the boat ride. And that starts off, we got dispatched. And you've got like a light that shines down on the water in front of you and a bit of smoke coming out, and we thought, yeah, this is, you know, going to be good. Obviously, we'd seen nothing from the boat ride when we went on the preview, and so we were like, oh yes. And yeah, to be honest, it was very good. So what did we see on the boat ride now? I was trying to think.
I got soaked on the boat ride.
Yeah, there's a few like squirters at the side. in terms of theme in that sense, so we had like a cage on the side, a few different cages actually, a couple of the projection heads where the projects onto like a mannequin, and obviously it looks like a real person. That was very good. On the left hand side there was one of those, and on the right there was someone who was in some sort of contraption. Making our way round there was also hanging from the ceiling like little like ropes, wasn't it?
Which to touch you as you go through.
Like draping over you, so that was quite nice. Again, throughout the boat ride, it follows the same layout. It's just over 4 minutes as what Charlie and the Chocolate Factory did. But I rated that a lot higher than the boat ride on Charlie. A lot to see, wasn't there? A lot of little details, some good sound effects, quite a lot of dark space, you know, but there was some big theming as well. And we went around one corner, there was an animatronic, wasn't there, on the side, where the old waterfall used to be for Charlie. Animatronic there, a few other bits, a bit more hanging down, and then we went into where the mirrors were for Charlie, and the mirrors were still there, weren't they?
Yeah, they were still there,
Yeah, you had a good scare, didn't you?
Yeah, there was just like a projection thing on the side.
A couple of projections on the side, and on the left-hand side, as you pull it into the station, there was like a really loud sound effect, wasn't it? That
activated some sort of cannon or something.
But yeah, it was a guy like in jail, I think, behind some bars, and it just rattled, and that was good. And then we led our way to scene what they don't actually advertise as part of it, but it's like the offload scene to the boat ride. So obviously how this works is if you've got maybe 3 or 4 boats worth of people, obviously it's just over 20, about 24 I think it is in a group, you've got to think, how are they going to theme and keep them entertained whilst the other boats are coming in?
Yeah, because you don't really want people standing there just with nothing, so
nothing
it's nice
see.
to have something there.
So what did we see there then when we got
So it
off?
was like, I think it's like the London one, when you get off the boat and then it's like somebody with a stick.
Yeah, it was this lady and she was explaining like, you know, all about what we'd seen down the Black River basically, which was the boat ride. Lasted a few minutes waiting for the final boats to come in. Some good interaction, she picked a couple of people out. And then you've got another one of them projection heads which was in there at the side. Who did a bit of a spiel and stuff about the Black River and how we've come to Alton Castle, which was really nice how they referenced that. Of course, not to be confused with Alton Towers. Alton Castle, if you're driving into Alton Village, is actually up there on the hillside. But yeah, talking about that, and that led us in. We went into Alton Castle, which was then scene 4, the Torturer. That I'd say is the weakest room still for me.
I agree, yeah.
There's a lot of black space. They kind of said when we did the behind the scenes nearly 2 weeks ago now that they're sort of focusing like 80% on one wall and then the 20% on the other 3 walls. So it's like being very clever with lighting and effects to sort of focus your eye in one place. But the Torturer, obviously your standard stuff in there. That's probably the one as well what's not really being customised that much.
No, it's literally the same as the others.
Yeah, what sort of stuff can the viewers expect in there, Charlotte? What sort of things do they do?
Well, if you've been to a dungeon before, obviously you've got the cage, somebody gets locked in the cage, you've got the usual seat where someone has to sit in the seat.
2 people get picked out.
But I just feel like it needed to be a bit bigger, the scene did. Just
2 more props around, set dressing.
3 more props, because it's just a bit bare behind.
There's no jump scare in the cage in that one either, is there? Some of them, like the person in the cage, you get open the door, or like London, for example. Nothing like that in that one. Don't get me wrong, the actor was fantastic in there. I just think the room doesn't look great either. But still, at this point, I thought, well, you know what? I'm enjoying this. It was very good. And it's amazing what they've done in a week and a half, isn't it, as well, since we went. Yeah. But yeah, a lot of black space in there, and a corridor then. That's where you notice a lot of the black walls. The corridors, they've not really done anything with since we saw them. The lighting's probably a bit dimmer, and a bit of smoke and things, but I still think they need some barrels.
Yeah, even if
wraps
it's just
at the side.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
It was a bit blank still in some of the corridors, but I'd say the corridors and the onload to the boat ride are the 2 areas for me what just feel a bit blank. But anyway, we then went into one of the unique scenes, of course, for the Alton Towers Dungeon, which was the highwayman, Dick Turpin. Really funny scene, actually. Lots of like innuendos and jokes and stuff in there. How this setup works is, of course, you've got the pub that we're in. Out the front, you've got the bar lady, just one lady, one actor that you see in there. Really, you know, hi, welcome to my pub. What are you doing here? Sort of thing. Like doing that whole Mrs. Lovett pie shop style, what you get in the London dungeon. It's like the whole Sweeney Todd 2 rooms, what you've got in London combined. Because obviously with Sweeney Todd, you meet Mrs. Lovett, then you go and sit down on the chairs. Whereas with this one, you sit on the chairs straight away, and the chairs, of course, feature your usual effects. So you've got the back pokers in there, and of course they move backwards as well. And it's got speakers in the side. So anyway, she builds up this story about the highwayman Dick Turpin. She shuts the shutters in there. Lots of nice theming around. She shuts the shutters on the pub. And says, oh, you know, Dick Turpin's coming to say hello, sort of thing. And then, yeah, like, she disappears off. It goes pitch black, and Charlotte had some good scares.
Oh my God, I was terrified.
And the sound quality was very good. The speakers all around the room, basically, and in the back of your seat. And it's like the sound is travelling around, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like as if he's walking around the room. So some people will get like a loud noise and then it will come round to you eventually.
Yeah, very good. You were scared, weren't you?
I was sat right forward so the back Rogers wouldn't get me.
Yeah, Charlotte likes sitting forward day and all these scare things we do.
I sit right forward.
But yeah, and obviously at the end, the chairs then tilt back. It's like, Dick Turpin, I'm here. And then the seats tilt back. There was a good like water effect in there as well. I remember someone on the front row got quite wet.
So
I can't remember what happened now.
It was a barrel. Yeah, and it came out.
Yeah, obviously it was earlier today, you know, when it happened. It's hard to remember everything sometimes. But the barrel, squirted. A lot of movement in there. That room looked really nice.
It did look good.
I think the theming in there was great. The walls around the back, it all was quite well themed.
Yeah.
And there are beams going across on the ceiling. You couldn't tell at all you were in Charlie's building. Very, very good. So yeah, that was the highwayman Dick Turpin. A very good, unique scene for Alton Towers Dungeon. We then made our way down through another black corridor. Again, it looked very bland down the corridor. I think, you know, work is needed on those, in my opinion. Into the Plague Doctor. A big scene, like a lot of stuff in there. And I'd say it looked a lot better than I thought it was going to when we saw it. Obviously, you've got the body in there. Someone gets selected in that scene as well. Someone gets picked on to go and sit in the chair where they, you know, say, oh, you know, have you seen the leeches? And the leeches are in the chair. I didn't feel any on my seat though.
I felt it halfway and then it stopped. When
don't know if that was working quite right. And yeah, a lot of other things in there. What else do we see in there? They pull out the body parts, don't they?
Yeah, the only difference that you could really tell was the other dungeons. They slit your wrist in there and the water comes through into the bucket, but they didn't.
Yeah, I didn't notice that actually. Yeah, they didn't, did they? Yeah, good point. And picked up on something I didn't there. Yeah, crazy. But yeah, so they didn't have that. Quite a nice bit of theming in there. Again, nothing around the sides or at the back.
No,
it's all focused at the front. But that didn't matter too much because you were sitting down. I think with the torturer, with you standing up, you look around. Whereas when you're sitting down, you focus forward. Probably the best actor for me in there. She was brilliant.
Really
she was quite small, the girl who was playing that part, and it just came across really creepy. Like it's this surgeon who's, you know, the doctor. Oh, he's in today. Let's pull out his bits and have a look at what's inside. Quote there from it. But yeah, again, really good. Very similar to that of what can be found in the other dungeons. Following on from that, we then made our way through another corridor when we were actually greeted by a brilliant jump scare. I was the first one in, and this guy with a little lantern comes round and he's like, come on in quickly into the cottage. And this is the haunting, the ghost scene, the big finale to the Alton Towers Dungeon. It's Molly Lee. Oh, well, where do we start with this then, Charlotte? So tell the viewers a little bit about, you know, how it started in there.
So you go into this big room and it's like, I don't really know how to explain it.
It's an old cottage with a table in the middle.
So there's a big table in the middle, then you have to all sit around the outside, and this bloke's telling the story about this lady who's actually his mother.
Yeah, called Molly Lee.
It was so creepy.
He starts off really like, you know, on your side, and then as it goes on, he turns quite a bit. And like Charlotte said, you're all around the edge of the room. Big room this as well. We're talking, you know, you've got 24 people all sat in a big square really. It's not quite a square, it sticks out in one corner, but you got all shelves around the top, moving parts. So the story starts to build up, and there's some pans in the middle as he's explaining that Molly Lee could come back to the house at any time. The pans start bashing and clanging together. A few like the shelves start to drop. Really good effects in there. And yeah, and then the lights go off. He disappears. Lights are back on. Lights go off again. Come back on. Nothing happens. Lights go off again, and then Molly Lee is there in front of you. And Charlotte actually saw Molly, didn't you? You kept your eyes open.
I was terrified.
Yeah, and she did about 4 scares, I think. Don't quote me on that, but
a scare to where we were, then it was a scare to the others, scare to the ones over there, and then
I think it was 4.
It was 4.
And yeah, so everybody got it. It was one actor that came and did it, but but blimey, that was really good. Like, fantastic costume. Obviously, you imagine sitting in a black room, like you can't see anyone.
Yeah.
She sneaks in through a door,
And then it's just like,
and they're there right in front of you. And we had a great seat. If you want to sit close to the exit door, so when you go in, it's in the far right corner. Sit there, you get a brilliant jump scare. But like we say, it happens in a few places for that impact. But you still can't beat the first time, I don't think.
I know.
It's like when you get Jack the Ripper, which is similar in London Dungeon. It's great the second time he does the strike.
I don't know, it still scares me.
Really? I don't know, for me,
still
it's
can't
like...
watch it.
I suppose it's the anticipation of knowing he's going to strike again.
It's that scary feeling knowing that, when are they going to come?
Yeah.
It's just scary.
Molly Lee, really impressed with that. And of course then, lights go out again. And he appears, the man, and he leads you out. And it was thanks for coming to the Alton Towers Dungeon, basically. Yeah. Then made our way out. Bit of theming in an exit corridor, which was nice. And then an automatic door, which didn't open for us. we had a little wait, and we managed to push it. But that is our experience of the Alton Towers Dungeon. A bit of a summary then. I'll let Charlotte sort of start, just in general. What do you think to it? Out of 10, what would you give it?
So
favourite scene?
I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. It's not my favourite dungeon that I've done, but it's a good addition to the park. My favourite scene is going to be the haunting of Molly. Molly Lee. That's going to be my favourite scene. It was just so eerie and scary.
What about the weakest scene or any improvements?
I'm going to say the torture is my weakest scene, just due to the fact of it. There's just not that much theming in there. It needs some more theming.
Agreed. But I think I'm very similar. I'd give it 7 out of 10 as well. 7 out of 10 for me. And I would say my favourite scene is Molly Lee. I really liked that. Worth pointing out, lots of smells throughout. Smell pods, brilliant.
Really good.
Obviously with Molly Lee, if you remember the Haunting of Molly Crow, that was a 1-year special at Scarefest a few years back. The story's a bit like that, with the feathers on the desk and stuff.
Like about a crow and stuff. Yeah. So it's very much
nice little throwback. Again, a unique scene to Alton Towers. Of course, the other dungeons, have got similar, like Warwick. I've got the Witches of Warwick. You've got Jack the Ripper in London, but that ghost scene, as they call it,
it really gets you. It's scary.
Brilliant. I would probably say that's my favourite scene ever in a dungeon. I really like it.
Really good.
Just the whole atmosphere and story. But overall, really good. 7 out of 10. I'd like to see the corridors and that onload have a bit more theming. Audio was consistent throughout. You couldn't really hear other scenes that much. Only a little bit I noticed in the judge room. I heard someone shouting in another room.
See, I was different. Really? I could hear... When we was in the torture room, I could hear the offload from the boat ride.
That's interesting. I didn't notice that.
You want it to be a bit quiet. You don't want to really hear other scenes.
You don't want to hear much going on in other rooms. No. But in general, it was better than I was expecting.
Yeah.
I didn't think I'd be saying that I'd give it a 7 out of 10. I thought, especially because they've done it in a short amount of time compared to other dungeons, it might not have the same passion and detail. And it certainly does. There's a great entertainment team at Alton Towers. They've done some great mazes over the years. So they've kind of put that into it, and the acting quality, 10 out of 10.
Absolutely fantastic.
With the torture scene, it was nothing to do with the actor. It was just the fact we'd seen that played out in a lot of places before, and the room itself didn't look great. The actor was great.
Really good.
All acting quality, costumes brilliant. What a great attraction. Still not too sure if it's the right thing that Alton Towers should have put in. Me personally, I still would have probably rather had a couple of new dark rides and flats and things. But, it's something what they've put in. It's part of the Merlin brand. I don't think it's going to last for a long time. It's got a photo, but there's no photo shop, which is interesting. I don't know where you go. Still didn't find out. And also, there's no gift shop there. So I don't think it's going to last for a long time. I give it a couple of seasons maybe. I don't think it's a long-term thing for Alton Towers. But you never know. Things might change. They might put a new scene in next year to try and boost visitors again. But it was sold out today. So there you go. It's done well. And that's our summary. Anything else you want to add? Or
No, I just think the team at Alton Towers have done an absolutely fantastic job with it, with the time that they've had. So
you can't tell you're enjoying the chocolate factory.
Definitely
the only bit for me was just getting on the boat. That's the only point. You can tell.
I was like, oh, jolly.
But other than that, all the chocolate smells and everything, it's all gone. And they've done a very good job.
Yeah.
But there you go. Thank you very much for watching. Like I say, join me and Charlotte and also Alex as well for our opening day vlog from Alton Towers, where we do all the different rides: Wicker Man, Smiler, Nemesis. We have a great day, don't we?
We did. We had a great day.
We got loads done, so make sure you check it out. And of course, me and Charlotte will be back with new vlogs in a few days' time. We're at Thorpe Park for the opening day, back to Chessington for my second visit and Charlotte's first of the year, and also Portland's Park as well.
Yay.
So lots to look forward to. Thanks for watching Theme Park Worldwide and another review here on our YouTube channel. That means it's time to cue those credits. See you later.